Welcome to Black Angus Reviews. Thank you for joining the channel, and be sure to hit the subscribe button before you're done. Today, we'll be discussing a new development with none other than comic legend Frank Miller. I know what you're thinking from the title, Frank Miller and Comicsgate. What? Well, just hold on and find out. First, to put this in perspective, let's look at this clip from 2011, Frank Miller and legendary editor-in-chief Bob Schreck discussing his book, Holy Terror.
As I worked on it, it changed shape. It changed shape immeasurably. And the stakes became higher. Within the story, the intensity of the conflict became more focused. And I realized this was not a Batman story. Batman fights the Joker. Batman fights the Riddler. Batman fights much more containable enemies than Al-Qaeda. And I wanted to stay with my screed against Al-Qaeda. And so I renamed the book and reformulated the character and reworked the entire story.
So the Comics Convention Thought Bubble, I think being held in Yorkshire, has released a statement saying the following. Over the last 14 years, Thought Bubble has grown into an amazing community of comic creators and fans who we love, trust, and respect. We have let you down in our commitment to maintaining Thought Bubble as a safe space for all. We have fallen short. We exist to share the art form and its worlds with people. If any individual, group, or community feels uncomfortable or excluded from our show, then we failed. We know that many of you are disappointing us and have been expecting a comment on this before now. We are sorry for our silence while we've been trying to fix this. Frank Miller will not be attending Thought Bubble. We are deeply sorry, particularly to those who we should be standing up for. We hope that you can give us the opportunity to make this better, and we thank you for holding us accountable. We know there's still more to discuss, and we will be replying to those who have been in touch. We hope you can bear with us while we do this. We won't let you down again. Yours, Team Thought Bubble. And at the bottom, they have a link to request a refund if needed, because I think they know a lot of people just want to go there for Frank Miller. Now, I looked at the guest list. There's a wide variety of a bunch of unknowns, but then people like James Tynion, Scott Snyder, who just had a huge Comixology deal with Amazon, struck, and that you should probably expect to see adaptations on Amazon Studios, Prime, what have you. But this is crazy. This all stems from SJWs adding another person on the list to cancel. The legend Frank Miller, the guy who made Dark Knight Returns, probably the most groundbreaking comic in the last, 40, 50 years, changing the game, really setting the status quo, going for Batman and for so many adaptations, not even including Daredevil and Wolverine, among other things he's done, Sin City, and his Dark Knight trilogy, if I say so myself. Apparently, this whole cancellation stems from a person called Shortbox. Apparently, this cancellation stems from a statement put out by a crowdfunding publisher, Shortbox, to make Thought Bubble reconsider their invite. As they said, I am sorry to inform you that Shortbox and I will no longer be attending Thought Bubble Festival this November. I was invited as a guest in 2020, which rolled over to this year. I've been excited to attend, represent my authors, and share our books with readers after almost 2 years of no conventions. However, as a proud Muslim woman, I cannot in good conscience attend a festival that deems it appropriate to invite and platform Frank Miller, a person who is responsible for the propagation of abhorrent anti-Muslim hate, particularly via his work. Anti-Muslim bigotry is repugnant and condemnable, yet has become so deeply rooted, so widely accepted in society that it is not even given a cursory consideration. As evidenced once again in this situation, I cannot comprehend how time and time again festivals and communities within comics espouse values regarding inclusivity, diversity, comics being for everyone, zero tolerance on hate, but all that lip service evaporates when they are asked to enact those same values. They followed up saying, For clarity, I first contacted Thought Bubble about this probably 8 weeks ago. After discussions, I was assured action would be taken. This week, it's been communicated to me that I am the acceptable loss. Repercussions to my career income over repercussions to theirs. And, of course, Thought Bubble doubles back on it. The SJWs are out after this guy because 10 years ago, he wrote a book called Holy Terror. And let's look at what Holy Terror is about. So, it's a 2011 graphic novel by Frank Miller, which follows a costume vigilante named the Fixer as he battles Islamic terrorists after an attack on Empire City. The novel was originally proposed as Holy Terror Batman in 2006, but is no longer a project associated with Batman or DC Comics. Miller explained in 2010, it's no longer a DC book. I decided partway through it was not a Batman story. If you look at a Guardian interview, it sheds a lot of light, interviewing him about 6 years after the book. And I don't know what to think of this. I don't know if I should take Frank Miller's word at face value or if it was a bit of him just kind of backing down from it, given how we've become more and more PC now. You have to toe the line, especially in the comics world. He took a hiatus and then came back with Dark Knight Returns 3, Master Race, which is a really awesome book, in my opinion. So Miller says some interesting things. He's talking about his Xerxes book, which is a 5-issue thing that I just read, actually, that is essentially part of Rise of an Empire. The 300 sequel is in this book. It spans Xerxes up to Alexander the Great. I think it was a bit misguided. It wasn't quite focused, but it was cool to see. But he talks about it, saying, the Spartans were strange catalysts of democracy. They were utter fascists. They had the best land in Greece, and it was tilled by slaves, and the citizens were all soldiers to defend the territory. The Athenians were the ones who gave birth to democracy, but the Spartans made it all possible. So he's saying fascist, a great buzzword. And this is back in 2017. In the article later, it says, Miller's politics seem to become more eccentric as his drawing did the same. In 2011, he published what he called a propaganda comic, Holy Terror, a gory tale of a caped superhero taking on Al-Qaeda. In one scene, the hero tortures a suicide bomber as his Catwomanish girlfriend observes that she's okay with that. It's just one of the book's many other acts of gory revenge on Miller's Muslims, who stone and behead people and scream, praise Allah. Readers and critics responded with bafflement and anger. One critic called it one of the most appalling, offensive, and vindictive comics of all time. Later in the interview, he says, my stuff always represents what I'm going through. Whenever I look at any of my work, I can feel that what my mindset was, and I remember who I was with at that time. When I look at Holy Terror, which I really don't do that all that often, I can really feel the anger ripple out of the pages. There are places where it is bloodthirsty beyond belief. He says about regrets, I don't want to go back and start erasing books I did. I don't want to wipe out characters of my own biography, but I'm not capable of that book anymore. So it's kind of telling in that article that he even addressed erasure of his book, because more and more we're getting to this point. I assume Holy Terror might come up on people's radar now trying to purchase it, and don't be surprised if eBay and other third-party sites, secondary market sites, end up pulling the book, if they haven't already, from being able to be exchanged, even used. And, we've seen this before. Recently with Dr. Seuss, there's certain books you can't sell. I have a Blu-ray copy of Triumph of the Wills, which was a controversial but highly praised work of propaganda by the Nazis. You can't even sell on eBay now. It's part of their hate speech. So this is crazy stuff. Will Frank Miller just go away now? Will he be chased out of the industry by this mob of blue-haired Kool-Aid weirdos? Or will he stay triumphant? Will people take his back? I'm waiting to see what the fallout is from the comic pros, from Thought Bubble, but clearly they felt pressure. And I think this is in England, which is having its own kind of problems with immigration and whatnot. So I don't know. It's sticky. I feel for Miller. I hate seeing a legend like him be taken down. But if he can be taken down, I think anyone can by this industry. So it just further accentuates the need for Comicsgate and for us to support actors being, or not actors, but creators being attacked. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I'll possibly keep you covered with more updates, fallout, whatnot for Miller. But definitely go check out all of his work. Great stuff if you haven't. Very foundational. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all next time. Thanks for joining.